goals tonight, puts him at 16 with 23 total goal contributions, leading the league in both categories. And lastly, with his assists on the first goal tonight, Diego Fernandez is the 13th player in league history to record at least 60 goals and 60 assists in an MLS career. With that said, we'll go to All-MCA Coach Josh Wolff for some opening thoughts.
It's disappointing, obviously, to not come away with a win. I think we started the game rather strong, and a fluky goal, I think, certainly combats our good start. And then a strike from distance that's a little bit. Again, something that you're not expecting to happen, but the guys responded extremely well. It's a little too open for me in the first half. We talked a little bit about our defensive shape and being a little bit more compact, but I think early goals tend to do that. People get excited, they want to keep pushing, and we were able to grab the third goal. But that's part of the discipline of of what we need to face going forward. We want to do it in a responsible way. It was good to see us get back into the game, and obviously the second half we had a little bit better approach with our structure, and I think the fourth goal and the fifth goal were there. We were unfortunate not to get them, and when you leave a team like this in it, they've done it time and time again where they can continue to grind, and we're able to nick one at the end. I think all three goals are fairly preventable. Obviously the first one's an odd one. The one from distance is 35, 40 yards, and the other one is across from the sideline. So I think we can, there's plenty of time to deal with those situations. But 6 goals at home in 2 games and only coming away with a point is disappointing. But we'll dust ourselves off, get ready for next week against Kansas City.
If you guys could pass around the microphone, Spencer, if you don't mind. First question, just go ahead and raise your hand. Chris Bills.
Yeah, Josh, like you said, I mean, you guys started strong.
Mm-hmm.
The goal, how much did you think that changed what you guys, the structure that you had come into the game with? How much did you feel like that sort of changed when that goal went in, and how did that affect the game, I guess?
I think it brings, it's an early goal, so the opponent now has, certainly some intentions to probably continue to push the tempo, but their goal is a little bit hokey. I think the guy's going to trap the ball, and somehow it bounces and deflects and goes in. But it's also just being mindful of what we want to be at home. We don't want to necessarily, run around pressing every time, but we do want to be able to build pressure. It's part of what we do well, but it's just from a better starting position, not getting so stretched. And as we get stretched, there are moments where we do okay with it, but there's also other times where it's just way too easy for the opponent. And those are the things that we continuously talk about, and we got to get better at. Plain and simple, we got to get better at that. And I thought the second half approach was a bit better. It's 3-2, so you're looking for your chance to make it 4 or 5, and doing that in a good way. And again, I think that part of it was there. And unfortunately, we weren't able to close out the game in a good way.
And Seba's goal at the end of the half, I mean, you've had some moments where you've been, flying down, the field in a certain direction and change directions. How hard is it to do what he did to get that ball in the back of the net?
There's a lot of things that Seba does that is unique to him. The way he started the game with a couple of his movements off the line, getting out of trouble, rolling through a couple guys' legs. He doesn't, it's to us it's probably become normal, which is we're getting spoiled, but he's extremely talented, and again he did a good job tonight finding ways to get on the ball, and obviously his impactfulness around the box is quite clear. And he navigated that one and obviously arrived really well for the first one as well. But hopefully he's doing all right. He had a little issue with his groin there, and that's why we ended up pulling him off. It's been bothering him for a bit, so we're being mindful of that. And again, we had opportunities to make this 4 or 5 and probably get the 3 points, and we'll talk about it and work on it this week.
Yeah, there was couple points, and in the second half, when we make the substitution needed to be made, and kind of that would be the key of the game. And when at the end, before the 88th minute, what were you thinking about, like when we have Redis and Wolff coming in? What was the idea? Because right before that, the team was making nice pressure, right? So I think the momentum was a little bit lost there.
Yeah, I think Ethan and Diego put in extremely good shift. I think Diego got backdoored and they got in line, and he was struggling physically. You could tell he put in a lot, and we got to make those decisions. Of course, I mean, we can always talk about it after the fact. It went 3-3, so it's an easy question for you guys to say it's about the sub, but he's crossing from the sideline and the ball's inside the 6, so we should be able to deal with that. And again, we had other chances to to finish off the game. When that was with Rodney and that was with Owen, so those guys still came in and did enough to help us grab the result. And we just got to do better with those plays. But when guys are tired and they're showing it, it's our responsibility to get fresh legs in there. And obviously, tonight we weren't able to close out the game.
Josh, how is the status with Corozo, number one, and do you have already news about Rigoni when he's going to be joining the team?
Nothing on Rigoni. Washington's doing fine. Again, I think it's a game. It's 3-2, and there's still a bit of the game to play, and it was more about assuring that we could maintain the lead and have proper understanding defensively. So I've talked about that already, and his qualities are quite clear offensively. But it was just a matter of the situation at that point.
Why the away? I mean, what are your thoughts about the away games? It seems to be very easy, and the local and the home it seems to be very hard.
Yeah, I don't know. It's situations of the games. New York Red Bulls was a challenging game. They're difficult. All these opponents, there are no easy games in this league. I think when the game ends and if you win the game, you feel, maybe we did some things really well. And if you lose the game, it's what did you not do well? So I don't think there's any easy games. I don't think any of those road games look easy, as you're saying. So I certainly, not sure how we could view it that way. The home games are challenging. It doesn't matter what team we're playing. They want to make it difficult on us, and we want to find ways to beat the opponent. So we've left some points on the board at home. We've probably stole some points on the road as well, but I think the guys have generally a good understanding of what the game's going to look like, and now it's just about executing. And tonight, we did a decent job throughout the match. We just didn't finish it out in a good way.
Driussi, just what's he like day to day in practice?
He's like what you see today in the games. He's very committed. He's the hardest working guy out there, or at least amongst the hardest working. He competes. He's a competitor, and I think he's continuously makes the guys around him better and takes very few plays off, if any. But he's a fighter and he's a winner, and I think that's what you see out there when he plays, and that resonates inside our group. He's a leader in many ways, and I think the guys respond to his energy and the accolades now and the praise that he's getting is also because of the team. But he has exceptional quality, and I think he continues to demonstrate that game in and game out.
From their goals, is there anything you take at all, or do you just kind of tip your cap and say, okay, the first one was kind of just a lucky touch, and the other two were just brilliant strikes and a brilliant cross?
Yeah, again, I mentioned the first one, he's trying to trap the ball, so it's probably catches a few guys off guard. It's just an odd play. The second one is a strike from 35, 40 yards. Brad punches it, and it's then how do you orientate and get your eyes on the ball and obviously get into a position where you can make a save. And he hit it extremely well, so that one you probably you kind of tip your hat. The third one, we have guys out in the channel that need to get closer to the ball, and like I said, the ball's delivered in a good way, but it's still in a spot we should be able to deal with it, either with the goalie or our center back. So it's just making plays on things that we typically make plays with.
Yeah, you mentioned Seba's dealing with something with his groin. I think you said, is there any possibility that limits what he's able to do in Minnesota this week?
I don't know. I don't know what it'll do, but yeah, he's had it for probably a little over a week now, and he was obviously motioning at the end of the game, so we wanted to be precautious and obviously get him out.
But I mean, what does it mean to you guys to have him have
Awesome.
that spotlight?
Awesome. He deserves it, and he's excited about the opportunity. I think he's as it got closer, and certainly there's more discussion about it through the players, but also online, and it's something he's probably never experienced, probably never even watched. There are some highlights now going around that show what some of these All-Star games were like previously, but it'll be great for him. He's amongst the best players in the league, and if not the best player in the league. Again, I think he puts his hat in that ring each and every week, and he seems to be the best. But we want him to go there, enjoy the moment. Obviously, with his family, it's a great opportunity. Represent this entire city, not just his teammates in this organization, but the city of Austin, and we're extremely proud of him, and we do want him to come back in good health and be ready to play next week.
Hey, Coach.
Hello.
Good to see you again. I'm embarrassed that we're wearing the same outfit, but
Nah,
sorry about that.
green is good. Green is good.
I'm sorry this is kind of becoming the Seba show here.
Yeah.
But I know you don't tire of talking about him being
No.
a former striker yourself. When we look at the highlights reel at the end of the season, goal of the season, it's just going to be one Seba goal after the next.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, we have a season's worth of viewing of him now, of data from him now,
Mhm.
of matches to watch and enjoy. What else does he need to do to be considered among really some of the greatest offensive players that this league has seen? I mean, what else is there for him to do?
Well, I think the consistency is a big part of it. Helping your team win a championship is a big part of it. Doing this year in and year out is a big part of it. I said it. I've had good conversations with Seba and said, I've been in this league a long time, and he doesn't necessarily know me from anything other than being the coach right now. But some of the people and players that I've been around and watched in this league since '96, I've been in since '98. And he can set a bar. He can set his own bar. And I truly believe that. The age that he has come at, the quality that he's bringing right now is extremely high level. And, there's some great names. Landon Donovan is a great name. Jaime Moreno is a great name. Valeri. These are some of the greats. And there's others. But he's capable of, if you can do it year over year and you stay healthy, and again, if you help raise trophies, I think that's what sets these players apart. And he's aware of that. He wants us to be competing for things, and that's why, again, day in and day out on the training field, in games, you see an energy and an intensity and a focus and a motivation and drive that's really unique, and it makes all of us better. But we got to continue to get better, and that's part of this job as well. But really excited by his performance tonight, and happy for him to get to go and experience this All-Star game.
Coach, you got 10 games left in the regular season. Seems you're probably going to make the playoffs. Biggest thing that you feel the club needs to work on as you hit this final stretch of the regular season and going into the playoffs?
There's lots of things. I think there's always things after you review a game that you need to touch up on. Whether it's defending the penalty box, being more buttoned up in transition, or something offensively. So there's a number of things. Game management is something we talk a lot about, but inside the game, there's a number of things. But we've made a lot of progress this year, but we still have much work to do. And these games only get tougher. Teams get desperate, and we're not in the playoffs yet. So that is not something to take for granted. Until we've clinched that, we're not there. So we got to stay hungry and humble about what we're doing, and be ready for next week. Kansas City's not going to come here and make this easy on us. They're not happy about what happened last week, so they'll be trying to right that wrong, and we got to be up for it. I think you've already seen that, to be honest. I mean, he was, Judson was all over him again tonight. No yellow card, just random warnings. And when he does get man marked, and there's been situations already that's happened. And I thought him and Pepe did a good job interchanging once in a while. And now Judson was hanging on Seba, but now there's nobody to deal with Pepe, and he did a good job. Those two, they've done that a number of times in games, but the recognition of that now and allowing Pepe to dribble a little bit more unaccounted for. Is nice. It's just maintaining a balance as we do that. But, we're aware of it. He also knows the other ways that we can get him on the ball, where he can come lower or he can move wider. But his understanding has grown tremendously, and as has the entire group. So still a lot of positive. Bummed that we left some points on the table tonight, but we got to continue to move forward and get ready for next week's game.
Any other questions? Mark, this is the last time I see you in the press room before you and the family with Colorado Springs. Thank you for all the coverage, time, and energy. We appreciate you. Thank you, Josh. Thanks, everyone.
Yes. What did you like about the skills challenge back in the day? Let me ask you a question.
I mean, goalie wars, obviously.
Goalie wars
I know
is a
you
big
weren't
highlight
involved,
for
but,
everybody. Sebastian cannot play that. He won't be taking part in that.
What skills would you like to see him put on display?
I don't even know. I don't know what they're set up to do. I think
They
there's
got,
there's like a
cross and
couple
volley,
there's
I
a
think
couple
seems
crossbars,
obvious.
which is an interesting skill. There's I think a crossing and finishing where they have a few shots, 5 shots each, something like that. So I don't think it's terribly exhausting, but it'll be good. He'll enjoy it, and he'll be amongst his peers, and they're amazing peers. This league's full of stars, as you've seen in this transfer window, and there are already stars here, but there's more coming, and he's a big one. He's one of them. Colby, keep going, dude. It's your birthday tonight. Have at it.
Just a league-wide question. I know you don't know this at the moment, but like today, there were just tons of goals scored across the league.
Yeah.
Just like, how does that speak to the offensive talent in the league now?
It's both ways. I think you're in the summer as well, so there's the grind of the summer, and we've talked about it as well. You watch teams around the world now that are just starting up, and it's warmer, and they're not fit. We're actually fit, but you're in the middle of the season. Some teams are now hitting 3 games in a week, but it is warm, and it's warm all over the country, and travel has a significant impact, and it's tough to sustain the level the entire year. And this isn't so uncommon. I think the summer tends to look like this. It's tough to maintain compactness in these games, and that's why we talk about it quite often. But not totally surprising. But we'll for our own sake, we want to tighten things up. We've given up too many goals lately, and that'll be something we'll be focusing on. All right. Sure.
Just your thoughts. Nothing has to do with the Austin FC, but what do you think about? What are your thoughts about what is happening in Houston Dynamo?
I don't have much to say about Houston. It's a new coach and some new management. It takes time to build out the newness of it, the culture, the environment. So they're doing a good job. Each game is challenging every week. I think Paolo's is a great young coach, and I know Pat and Asher there, and they're very experienced in our league, and they're working on building a team. It doesn't come easily. It doesn't come quickly, and I expect them to continue to progress through this year, and they'll be competing. Hopefully, they'll continue to compete for the playoffs, and that's what we're all hoping to do, is to make the playoffs and try to make a run.
The reason why I ask is because they compare Nagamura's year with your first year.
Yeah.
So they think the second year, with using your they think the second year is going to be like yours.
All right. Well, wish them luck. Wish them luck.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.